I walked in on my CEO while she was half-dressed. I thought that moment would destroy my life. I was wrong. That was the moment everything started to change. It began at 4:47 in the morning with a dying bathroom light. I watched it flicker above the cracked mirror and thought about how I should have fixed it weeks ago. A new bulb cost $10. Right now, $10 meant food or bus fare or part of my rent. So I stood there under the flickering light and washed my face in the dark. My name is Marcus Chen. I was 32, but the man in the mirror looked closer to 50. Dark circles, tired eyes, hands full of calluses from 3 years of fixing other people's broken things. Through the thin wall of our tiny Chicago apartment, I could hear my daughter breathing in her sleep. Emma, 7 years old. The only thing in my life that made sense. Her mom left before Emma was even born. She took a small suitcase and said 5 words that rewired my whole life. I am not ready for this. Then it was just me and a positive pregnancy test and a future I did not understand. I walked away from architecture school, put my dream of designing buildings in a box and shoved it into a corner. I learned how to make formula at 3 in the morning, how to calm fevers, how to stretch $10 until the end of the week, how to keep one little girl alive in a city that did not care about us at all. The job at Hartwell Technologies was the best I could get. Maintenance, basements, pipes, wiring. I started 3 years ago. Nobody on the upper floors knew my name. I was just the guy who made the toilets flush and the lights stay on. At 5:03, my phone buzzed. My stomach dropped before I even looked at it. Early calls never meant anything good. It was Tom Brennan, my supervisor. "Marcus, we have an emergency," he said. His voice sounded tense. "Executive floor. Power outage in the CEO's private suite." The words executive floor made my hand tighten on the phone. The 28th floor might as well have been another world. Marble, glass, art, rich people. Not for guys in navy blue work shirts. "Can't Rodriguez take it?" I asked. I already knew the answer. "Rodriguez called in sick. Stevens is knee-deep in a flood in the parking structure. You are the only one with electrical clearance who picked up." And Marcus. "Yeah?" This came from the top. CEO herself requested immediate response. Alexandra Sterling. Everybody at Hartwell knew that name. 29 years old. Took over the company when her father had a heart attack. The business channels called her a genius. People inside the building called her the Iron Lady when they thought nobody important could hear them. I had seen her once in the lobby from far away. Black suit. Black hair pulled so tight it looked like it hurt. High heels that hit the marble like they owned the building. She never looked left or right. She moved like gravity worked different for her. She scared me from 50 feet away. "Fine," I said. I felt the defeat sink into my bones. "I will be there in 40 minutes. 30, Tom said. The email said urgent. The call ended. I stood in the flickering bathroom light for a second and thought about rent, school fees, my grandmother's insulin, everything that depended on this job. I pulled on my work shirt with the Hartwell logo, grabbed my tool belt, and stepped into Emma's room. She was spread out like a starfish on her narrow bed, dark hair over her pillow. Her hand wrapped around the little stuffed elephant I found in a thrift store for her birthday. I knelt and kissed her forehead. "Love you, sweet girl," I whispered. "Mrs. Park will take you to school. I will pick you up after, I promise." The bus ride downtown took 25 minutes. The sky was still dark. I watched delivery trucks unload, coffee shops turn on their lights, strangers with tired faces heading into another day. Hartwell Tower rose out of the street like a glass knife. 68 stories of steel, glass, and money. I swiped my badge and took the freight elevator. My reflection in the metal walls looked small and worn. The numbers climbed. Basement, ground, 4th, 10th, 20th, 28th. The doors opened to silence. The executive floor at 5:38 a.m. felt like a museum. Wide marble hallway, glass walls, Art that probably cost more than my yearly salary. Everything was so clean it almost hurt to look at it. My boots sounded too loud on the floor. The work order on my tablet said exactly where to go. CEO's private suite. Power outage. All systems down. Her reception area looked like something from an architecture magazine. Soft chairs. A big desk. Floor-to-ceiling windows that showed the city waking up below. But everything was dark. The only light came from the gray dawn outside. I found the electrical panel hidden behind a smooth white door. The label was tiny. Authorized personnel only. Technically, that was me. The problem was simple. Main circuit tripped. Probably a surge during the night. 5-minute fix. I reset the breaker. The panel hummed as power flowed back into the system. Lights flickered on in stages. Soft, warm light filled the suite. I let myself breathe. Finally, a woman's voice snapped from somewhere deeper in the office. "What took so long?" Quote. The voice was sharp, annoyed, very awake. I had not thought she would be here this early. I was suddenly very aware that I was on her floor, in her space. Just needed to reset the main circuit. I called back. I tried to keep my voice steady. Everything should be working now. I will test all the connections. Do it quickly, she said. I have investors in 90 minutes. I moved down the hall, testing lights and outlets. Everything responded fine. The suite had 3 main doors, one to a big conference room, one to another meeting area, one made of frosted glass. That one was closed. There was a final control panel right beside the frosted door. I opened it, checked the circuits. All good. Habit took over. Without thinking, I pushed the door. It swung open in one smooth motion, and my life split in half. Before and after. Alexandra Sterling stood in the middle of her office, halfway through changing her clothes. Black skirt, white blouse half unbuttoned, bare skin. Her dark eyes went wide. I froze. My tool bag slipped from my hand and hit the floor with a loud crash. "I am sorry," I choked out. Heat raced up my neck and into my face. "I am so sorry. I was checking the last panel. I thought this room was empty. I did not know you were in here. I swear I did not know." "Get out," she said. Her voice was not loud. It didn't have to be. It was quiet and deadly, like ice over steel. "I am sorry," I repeated. I stumbled back, almost tripping over my own feet. I did not mean to come in. I thought. Turn around. I stopped fast. My heart pounded in my throat. I turned my back and stared at the frosted glass, at my own blurred outline and the empty reception area beyond it. Behind me, I heard the soft rustle of fabric, the sharp sound of a zipper. My face burned so hot I thought the skin might split. All I could think was that I had just ruined everything. She could fire me, report me, blacklist me. I saw Emma's face in my mind. "I swear I did not see anything," I said to the glass. My voice shook. "I was just doing my job. I did not know you were here. Please, I have a daughter. I cannot lose this job." "Be quiet." I shut my mouth. Seconds stretched like hours. I could hear her moving, pulling clothes into place, adjusting her hair, putting the armor back on. "You can turn around now," she said. I turned slowly, kept my eyes low at first, then forced myself to look up. It felt like the least I owed her. She was behind her desk now, white blouse buttoned, black skirt smooth, hair pulled back tight. The CEO again, calm, composed, untouchable. "Look at me," she said. I did. It was like staring into a searchlight. "You really did not know I was in here," she said. Her voice was flat, but there was something under it. Not rage. Something else. "No, ma'am," I said. The work order just said power outage. I thought the floor was empty. I reset the circuit and was checking all systems. I have never stepped into this office before. I would never cross that line on purpose. I know how this looks. I do not have any excuse. I just want you to know it was an accident." "What is your name?" she asked. "Marcus Chen," I said. "Maintenance. Electrical. I have worked here 3 years. No write-ups. No complaints." Quote. She walked around the desk, Each step was measured, heels tapping on the floor. She stopped a few feet in front of me, close enough that I could smell her perfume, warm and sharp at the same time. "You are terrified," she said. "Yes, ma'am." "Of me or of losing your job?" "Both," I said. The truth came out before I could soften it. Mostly of losing my job. My daughter is 7. I am all she has. I cannot imagine how I will feed her if I get fired today. For the first time, something in her face moved. Her eyes flickered like she had heard that kind of fear before. "The door was unlocked," she said. "I should have secured it. That is on me, not you." I blinked. My brain could not catch up. "Ma'am?" "You were doing your job," she said. "You followed the work order. What happened stays between us." "Understood?" "Yes, ma'am," I said fast. "I will never talk about it. To anyone, I swear." "Good. Finish your verification. Then leave." She picked up a tablet, already turning away. Conversation over. At the doorway, I stopped. "I really am sorry," I said quietly. She looked up. For a second, the mask slipped. I saw tiredness, the same kind I saw in my own face every morning. "I know you are," she said. "Now go." I left her office on legs that felt like rubber, finished checking the last panels with shaking hands. Took the elevator down and pressed my forehead to the cool metal wall, trying to breathe. She had not fired me. She had every right to. No one would have questioned it. Instead, she had taken some of the blame. Protected me, for some reason I did not understand. That question followed me all day. While I fixed a leaky pipe on the 4th floor. While I unclogged a sink in the cafeteria. While I picked up Emma from school and pretended everything was normal. 2 days later, an email from Human Resources hit my inbox. "Please report to HR immediately." My heart started pounding all over again. I walked into HR expecting to lose my job. The waiting room was too quiet. Beige walls, fake plant, a print on the wall of some calm ocean I had never seen. My work boots squeaked on the floor as I sat down. A woman in a gray suit came out with a folder in her hands. "Marcus Chen?" she asked. "Yes." "I'm Patricia, HR director. Come in." I sat across from her at a round table that felt way too official for someone who spent his days under sinks and in ceiling panels. "If this is about Monday," I started, "I can explain. I was given a work order, and the door was unlocked, and I thought the office was empty, and I know how it looked, but I swear This is not a disciplinary meeting, Mr. Chen," she cut in. I stopped talking. She opened the folder and slid a paper across the table. "This is a position reassignment," she said. "Effective immediately, you are being moved from general maintenance to senior facilities specialist for executive operations." The words did not make sense at first. They might as well have been in another language. "I don't understand," I said. "The position was created based on a recommendation from Ms. Sterling," Patricia said. "She asked for you by name." My heart stuttered. "Ms. Sterling," I repeated. "The CEO." "Yes, she believes the executive floor needs a dedicated technical specialist with electrical clearance." Patricia checked her notes. "She described you as reliable, discreet, and calm under pressure." My throat went tight. "Your new salary is here," she said, tapping the paper. "You will also receive full health benefits that cover dependents." I looked down. The number did not seem real. It was almost double what I made before. I did the math in my head. Rent on time. Real shoes for Emma. Actual savings. Maybe even a new light bulb. I didn't earn this. I said out loud before I could stop myself. "You did," Patricia said. "Whether you believe that or not, do you accept the position?" My brain was still trying to catch up, but my mouth knew the answer. "Yes," I said. "I accept." That night after Emma fell asleep, I sat at our tiny kitchen table with the offer letter in front of me. The fridge hummed. Cars passed outside. In the bedroom, my daughter snored softly, one arm thrown over her stuffed elephant. I traced the number with my finger. Alexandra could have taken everything from me. Instead, she had done this. Why? I did not know. But I knew one thing very clearly as I sat there in the dim light. I was not going to waste this chance. My first day on the executive floor as senior facilities specialist felt like stepping into a movie I was not supposed to be in. People in suits moved fast and quiet. Someone carried 3 coffees in one hand while reading emails with the other. Phones buzzed. Doors opened and closed with soft clicks. No one looked lost, except me. A woman in a sharp charcoal suit came toward me. "You must be Mr. Chen," she said. "I am Amanda, Chief of Staff. Follow me." She walked like she had a stopwatch in her head. She led me to a small room tucked near the main electrical panels. Inside was a desk, a real chair, cabinets for tools, and a narrow window with a view of the city. "This is your office," she said like that was normal. Office. Not closet. Not basement corner. Office. "You will handle all systems on this floor," she went on. "Priority is Miss Sterling's suite. Response time for her requests is 10 minutes or less. You will receive work orders on this tablet." She handed it to me. It was loaded with apps and a calendar. "The schedule you see here is confidential," she said. "You do not discuss it with anyone. You do not repeat anything you overhear. You are invisible unless Miss Sterling needs you. Understood?" "Yes," I said. "Understood." "Good. Miss Sterling values discretion, efficiency, and seamless operation. If she never has to think about you, you are doing your job." She left me there. I sat at the desk for a minute, my tool belt resting on my knees, and let it sink in. I had a window, I had a title, I had a job that meant Emma's life would be different. My tablet buzzed. Work order. Test all executive systems. Before 8 a.m. investors on site. I got to work. The first week, I kept my head down and my eyes open. I learned every vent, every wire, every hack the building used to keep this one floor perfect. I saw Alexandra in flashes. Her reflection in the glass as she walked by a conference room, the line of her shoulders as she stood at the end of a table, talking while everyone else took notes. Her profile in the elevator, jaw tight, eyes on some point far away. She never looked at me. On my 8th day, I was under the main conference table fixing a glitchy video connection when I heard her voice. "I do not care what the legal team thinks," she said as she walked in with one of the board members. "We are not backing down." I froze. I could see their shoes from under the table, her black heels, his shiny brown ones. I held my breath and tried to become part of the floor. They talked about contracts, lawsuits, public image. I did not listen on purpose. I didn't want to know details that lived way above my pay grade. The room went quiet. "Is someone in here?" the board member asked. My chest clenched. "The maintenance technician," Alexandra said. "He is fixing the video system. Marcus, are you finished?" She remembered my name. I slid out from under the table as calmly as I could. My knees were dusty, my heart hammered. "Almost done, ma'am," I said. "I will be out of your way in 30 seconds." "Good," she said. "Finish and go." The board member looked at me like I was dirt on his shoe, but I kept my eyes on the tools, not on him. I tightened the last cable, shut the panel, grabbed my bag, and left without a word. That night, my tablet buzzed with a new email. From Esterling at Hartwell Tech. Subject, discretion. 7 words. "Your discretion today is noted and appreciated." I stared at them for a long time. The next time she spoke directly to me was about a week later. "Temperature in my office is wrong," Amanda said on the intercom. "Miss Sterling requested you." I grabbed my tools and went. Her office was too warm, the air heavy. She was on a video call with 4 people at once, all of them looking afraid to speak. I worked in the corner, replaced a bad sensor, reset the control panel. Cool air began to move again. She did not look away from her screens, but her shoulders dropped a little. "Now that I can think again, we can continue," she said to them. I knew that line was for me. After that, she started requesting me by name. A broken outlet, a flickering light, a coffee maker that refused to work 10 minutes before a board meeting. Each time, she barely glanced my way. Each time, I made sure the problem disappeared fast, like it had never existed. I started checking her schedule in the morning. I learned when she liked the room a little cooler, when she needed the lights dimmed for presentations. I adjusted small things before she could notice them. One morning, I was swapping out a motion sensor in her office before she arrived. Amanda had told me I had 20 minutes. I was on the ladder when the door opened. "You are early," she said. "So are you," I answered before I could stop myself. She was at the threshold, holding a tablet and a coffee. Her hair was down for once, falling over her shoulders. It softened her somehow. "Wanted to fix this before your first meeting," I said, climbing down. The sensor was lagging. Lights were staying on too long. "You read my schedule." It was not a question. "Yes," I said. "It helps me plan so I do not interrupt anything important." Quote, "Most people would do the minimum," she said. "Come when they are called. Fix exactly what is broken, nothing more." "I do not have that luxury," I said. "My daughter does not have that luxury." Her eyes flicked to mine. "Emma," she said. She remembered the name. 7, right? "Yes, ma'am," I said. "Second grade, loves art, hates math, thinks broccoli is a crime." The corner of her mouth twitched, almost a smile. "And her mother?" she asked. "Gone," I said. "She left before Emma was born. It has always been just us." Alexandra was quiet for a long moment. "That must be difficult," she said. "It is," I said. "But she is worth it." She looked at me in a way that made my chest feel tight, like she could see every sleepless night and early morning I had lived. "Building this company cost me almost everything," she said finally. "Friends, time, any chance at a normal life. People do not see that part. They just see the title." "Do you have anyone?" I asked before I could stop myself. "Outside of this place?" Her eyes softened and hardened at the same time. "No," she said. "Everyone wants something from me. Power, money, access. It is hard to tell who is real." "Yeah," I said softly. "Trust gets tricky when people walk away." She studied my face. "You understand that," she said. "Not a question." I nodded. We stood there in that big office with the city spread out behind her. For the first time, I did not feel like just the guy with the tools. For the first time, it felt like she saw me. That feeling stayed with me the rest of the day. So when Amanda said the next morning, "We have a major product launch in the main hall next week. Miss Sterling needs everything perfect," I took it seriously. I went down to the big conference hall that afternoon to check every system myself. The screens, the sound, the lights. When I looked up at the lights above the stage, something in my stomach twisted. One of the heavy stage lamps did not look right. The angle was slightly off. The safety cable hung strange, like it had been messed with. I pulled out my ladder and climbed up for a closer look. What I saw when I reached the rigging made the hairs on the back of my neck stand up. It was not just a loose bolt, it looked like someone had been up here on purpose. And whatever they had been trying to do was not an accident. When I reached the rigging and saw the truth, my whole body went cold. The safety cable on the stage light was almost cut through. Not worn out, not frayed from age. It looked like someone had taken a saw or knife and worked at it over and over. The main bolt that held the light in place was turned back. On purpose. If that cable snapped and the bolt gave way, that heavy light would fall straight down. Right where the speaker would stand. Right where Alexandra would stand. I checked the other lights. 2 more had bolts that were looser than they should be. Not as bad, but bad enough to make my stomach twist. This was not a mistake. It was not lazy work. Someone had tried to make this look like an accident waiting to happen. I took photos with my tablet. Close shots of the cable, the bolt, the timestamp. My hands were shaking. Then I did the one thing I knew how to do. I fixed it. I replaced the safety cable with a new one, tightened every bolt until my arms ached, checked every other light, put in extra clips. Double safety. I made sure nothing up there could move unless someone forced it. I climbed down and stood in the empty hall for a long time, the silence pressing in around me. I thought about going straight to security, to Amanda, to Alexandra, but I also knew how it would sound. "Hey, I think someone tried to drop a light on the CEO. I cannot prove it. I fixed it already. No, I did not see anyone do it. No, there is no clear evidence." It would turn into a mess. Maybe they would believe me. Maybe they would think I was overreacting. Maybe they would blame regular poor maintenance. In the end, I decided to watch. Document everything. Stay close. Fix what I could and be ready if something went wrong. I did not expect everything to go wrong so fast. The day of the presentation, the whole building buzzed in a different way. Press badges, expensive suits, polished shoes. Everyone wanted this launch to be perfect. At 3:30, I was in the hall checking the systems again. Lights secure, cables tight, screens working, sound clear. At 3:55, people started filling the seats. Investors, journalists, senior staff, cameras from financial news channels. At 4 o'clock, Alexandra walked onto the stage. She wore a deep blue suit that made her stand out against the pale background. She looked calm, strong, ready. No one would believe she had almost been killed by a wire and a bolt if I had not fixed them. I stood at the back near the control panel. My eyes were not on the screens or the crowd. They were on the lights. Alexandra started speaking. Her voice was steady, the sound system carrying every word. I kept watching the rigging. For the first 10 minutes, nothing moved. The light stayed solid. No sway, no shift. The cable looked fine. Then, I saw it. The light right above Alexandra moved. Not much, just a small rotation, like someone had put weight on the metal frame. I squinted, heart pounding. There, in the shadows of the rigging above the stage, I saw a shape. A person in dark clothes, moving low and fast between beams, fingers working at something near the light I had fixed. Someone was up there. Someone was trying to undo what I had just done. My body moved before my brain could catch up. I bolted from the back of the hall. The security guard near the side door called after me, but I did not stop. I ran for the stairs that led up to the rigging access. My mind raced. If I went up, I might reach that person too late. If I went down, I might reach Alexandra in time. The light shifted again. A low metal groan carried through the hall. A few people glanced up. I changed direction and sprinted straight for the stage. Alexandra was in the middle of a sentence. "Here at Hartwell, we believe the future is—" "Move!" I shouted. My voice cracked across the hall. Every head turned. Alexandra stopped mid-word. Her eyes found me, shock flashing across her face. "Get away from the center of the stage!" I yelled. For a split second, she froze. Years of training had taught her to hold her ground in front of any crowd. Her body did not know how to run. The light above her groaned again. The cables snapped with a sound I will never forget. I jumped up onto the stage. My legs burned. The world narrowed down to her in the spot of floor under that light. I reached her and grabbed her around the waist. "Hold on," I said. Then I threw us both sideways as hard as I could. We hit the floor together. Pain shot up my shoulder. My tool belt dug into my hip. Half a heartbeat later, the heavy light crashed down where she had been standing. Glass shattered and flew across the stage. Metal slammed into the floor, bouncing once. Sparks burst from broken wires. The crowd screamed. For a second, all I could hear was my own breathing and the pounding of my heart. Alexandra was in my arms, pressed against my chest. Her fingers were clutching my shirt. I could feel her heart hammering against my ribs. "Are you hurt?" I asked. My voice shook. She blinked at me, eyes wide. "I think I am okay," she said. Her voice was hoarse. "You?" Blood ran warm down my forearm where a shard of glass had cut me. I barely felt it. "I am fine," I said. "You are not under a light. That is what matters." Security rushed the stage. People in the front rows stood up. Some were on their phones already, recording, calling, shouting. Hands pulled us to our feet and then pulled us apart. "Sir, you need to step back," one guard said. "Miss Sterling, are you injured?" another asked. Alexandra tried to pull away from them, her eyes locked on me. "He saved my life," she said, voice sharp now. "Do not treat him like a threat." They backed off a little but kept us surrounded. Head of security, a man named Webb, push through the chaos. He took one look at the smashed light, the broken cable, the blood on my arm, and his jaw clenched. "Clear the hall," he ordered. "Now. Calm. Steady." Everyone out. They moved the crowd, herded people toward the exits. The hall slowly emptied. The paramedic cleaned my arm with something that burned. 4 stitches. A bandage. Questions about dizziness and head pain. My head was fine. It was everything else that was spinning. In the security office, Webb sat across from me at a small table. "Walk me through it," he said. "From the beginning. Start with why you checked the hall yesterday." I told him everything. About the frayed cable, the loose bolts, the photos. How I had fixed it all. How it did not look like normal wear. He looked at the images on my tablet. "This is not an accident," he said. "You are right." "I should have reported it," I said. "That is on me." "You fixed the immediate danger," Webb said. "We can argue later about the rest. What matters is that someone got back into the rigging and tampered with it again." "I saw someone up there," I said. "Dark clothes, moving fast. I could not see a face." He nodded, jaw tight. "We are pulling footage now," he said, "from every camera near the rigging access. We will find him." The door opened. "Miss Sterling wants to see him," Amanda said. Webb looked at me. "Go," he said. "We are not done, but go." Alexandra was in a smaller conference room, away from the noise. No crowd here, no cameras, no board members. Just her. She stood by the window, looking out at the city like she was trying to hold it steady with her eyes. "Come in," she said without turning. I stepped inside and closed the door. "I did not mean to interrupt your presentation," I said. My voice sounded rough, but I did not have time to explain. "You tackled me in front of 300 people," she said. There was a small shake in her words. "You threw me to the ground and a 40-pound light hit the stage where my head had been." She turned and faced me. Her mask was gone. Her eyes were red around the edges, not from crying exactly, more from everything she was holding back. "You saved my life, Marcus," she said. "Do you understand that?" I swallowed hard. "I saw the damage earlier," I said. "I fixed it, but I should have told someone. When I saw it moving again, I did not think. I just moved." "I am glad you did," she said. Her gaze searched my face. "Why did you not report it right away?" "Because I did not want to be wrong," I said honestly. "Because I am the guy who is supposed to fix things quietly, not start fires upstairs. Because I knew they might call it poor maintenance if there was no proof." She took a step closer. "You have a habit of showing up right when everything is about to fall on my head," she said softly. "First, the power, then the light." "I am just doing my job," I said. It sounded weak even to me. "No," she said. She shook her head. "You are not. Most people in this building do their job and nothing else. You do more. You notice what others miss. You pay attention." She drew in a slow breath. "Security says this was likely sabotage," she said. "Not random, not some loose bolt. Someone wanted this to happen. Someone wanted me gone." "Why?" I asked. "Why would someone go that far?" She gave a short, bitter smile. "Power, money, control," she said. "You would be amazed how many people want what I have. How many think they deserve it more than I do." "That is not normal," I said. "It is my normal," she answered. "And I have handled it alone for a long time." She looked at the bandage on my arm. "And then you came in the middle of all that," she said. "Just a man trying to keep his daughter's lights on, and twice now you stood between me and a disaster that should have killed me." She stepped close enough that I could smell her perfume again, close enough that the air between us felt tight. "I do not know what to do with that," she whispered. "I wanted to say a lot of things, that I would always stand there if I could. That I could not explain why, only that the idea of her being hurt made something inside me twist in a way I did not want to examine too closely. What I said was simple. "I am not going anywhere," I told her. "Not if you still want me here." She held my gaze for a long moment. "I do," she said. A knock on the door broke the moment. Webb stepped in, face serious. "We found our man," he said. We pulled footage from the rigging access. We know who was up there." He tapped the tablet in his hand and turned it toward us. The image showed a man in dark coveralls climbing into the rigging. The shot was clear enough to see his face. "He is one of ours," Webb said. "Maintenance. Hired 7 months ago. Name on file is David Martinez. Background check looked clean, but his identity is fake." Alexandra's jaw tightened. "So someone planted him," she said. "That is what it looks like," Webb said. "And that is not all. We traced some of his messages. The person who has been talking to him, giving him instructions?" He looked at Alexandra. "It is someone inside your circle," he said. "Someone high up. Someone you trust." The room felt suddenly smaller. "Who?" Alexandra asked. Webb hesitated for half a second. "Thomas Park," he said. "Your Chief Innovation Officer." The words hung in the air like another falling light, right over her head. "Thomas Park," Webb said. The name hit both of us like a punch. I knew who he was. Everyone did. Tall, friendly, always joking in the elevator when he rode down to the lower floors. The kind of guy who remembered people's names. Who brought donuts sometimes for entire departments when a project wrapped. And he had tried to kill her. Alexandra did not move at first. Her hands were on the edge of the table, knuckles white. "That is not possible," she said. Her voice was quiet, but I could hear something cracking under it. "Thomas has been with us for years. He worked with my father. He helped me after I took over. He has sat in every major strategy meeting. Why would he do this?" Quote. Webb tapped his tablet. "Money," he said. "Contacts. We traced payments from a shell company tied to a rival group. They promised him a top position if leadership at Hartwell changed. If you were gone." Alexandra let out a slow breath, like it hurt. "So he smiled in my face in meetings," she said, "and then hired someone to drop a light on my head." "Yes," Webb said. "We can arrest him right now. We already have enough. But if we wait, watch him, we might see who else he talks to. We might catch everyone involved." Alexandra looked at me. Her eyes were dark and tired. "What do you think?" she asked. "No one has ever asked my opinion up here," I said before I could stop myself. "I am asking now," she said. I thought about Emma. About what I would want if someone tried to hurt her. I thought about Alexandra, waking up every day knowing someone could be planning the next move. "If you just arrest him, he is gone," I said. "But the people behind him are still out there. You will never know when the next hit comes. If you can stand it, if you can handle it, I think you let them watch him. Follow every text, every call, catch all of them at once." Webb nodded like he agreed, but his jaw was tight. "We will keep you covered every second," he said. "No more alone time, no more gaps." Alexandra stared at the table for a long moment. "I am tired of looking over my shoulder," she said softly. "Let us finish this." The next 48 hours stretched like a week. I stayed within sight of her the whole time, in meetings, in the hallway, near her office door. At first, she tried to pretend it was normal, but everyone noticed. People looked at me differently, not as the guy with the tools, as the man who had tackled the CEO out of the way of a falling light. Thomas came and went with his usual smile. On the first day, he brought Alexandra coffee, set it on her desk, and asked how she was feeling after the scare. "Fine," she said. Her voice was smooth. "We are tightening all procedures." She did not look at me, but I saw her fingers grip the coffee cup just a little too hard. Every move Thomas made, Webb watched. Someone followed him when he left the building. Someone listened to his calls. Someone traced his emails. On the second night, I was in the maintenance room marking down filter changes when my security radio crackled. "Marcus," Webb said. His voice was tight. "Status on 28th? "Quiet," I said. "Miss Sterling is still in her office. Amanda left 10 minutes ago." "Stay close," he said. Thomas just came back into the building. He used his badge to access the executive elevator. He is not scheduled to be there. My heart jumped. "I am heading to her now," I said. I dropped my pen and ran. The hallway lights flickered once as I turned the corner toward her wing. Then every light on the floor went out. The emergency system kicked in, but only tiny red glow strips along the floor came on. The rest was thick shadow. "Webb," I said into the radio. "Power just cut on executive. Is that you?" No answer. My footsteps pounded on marble. I reached her door and pushed it open. "Alexandra," I said. "We need to move." She was in the glow of her laptop screen, frozen for half a second. Then she saw my face. "What is happening?" she asked. "Backup power failure," I said. "Thomas is in the building. They lost him on cameras. We cannot stay here." Her eyes widened, but she nodded. She pushed back from the desk. Then a voice came from the doorway. "No," it said. "You are staying right here." Thomas stood there, framed in the red glow. His tie was gone, his shirt sleeves rolled up, and his hand was wrapped around a gun. My stomach dropped. "You do not have to do this," Alexandra said. Her voice was calm. Too calm. "Security will be here any second." "They lost power," Thomas said. "They lost cameras. They lost audio." "You think I did not study every inch of this place before I made my move?" Quote. He stepped closer. The gun glinted in the faint light. "I tried to make it easy," he said. "An accident on stage. Very sad. Company rallies. Stock dips, then recovers. I keep my job." His eyes flicked to me. "But your pet maintenance man ruined that." I took a step so I was fully between him and Alexandra. "Drop the gun," I said. My voice came out steadier than I felt. "This ends with you in handcuffs or dead. Those are the only options." He laughed. "You think you can stop this?" he asked. "You are nobody. You fix lights." I took another step forward. "Yeah," I said. "And today, I am going to fix this too." He raised the gun. I did not think. I moved. I threw myself at him, aiming for his arm. He fired as I hit. The sound tore through the office. The flash lit the room for a second. My head rang. My shoulder exploded in pain like someone had hit it with a hammer. I did not know if the bullet hit me or just grazed, but it felt like fire. We slammed into Alexandra's desk. Papers flew. The gun skidded across the floor. Thomas fought like a man who had decided he had nothing to lose. His elbow caught me in the ribs. I lost my breath. My hands slipped on his shirt. "Marcus!" Alexandra shouted. I heard the scrape of something heavy. Then, a sharp crack. She had picked up the glass award on her desk and smashed it into the side of Thomas's head. He staggered. I drove my shoulder into his chest and took him down to the floor. We wrestled for the gun. The door burst open. "Hands where we can see them!" Webb yelled. Half a dozen security guards rushed in. They pulled Thomas off me. One kicked the gun away. They forced his arms behind his back and snapped cuffs on his wrists. I rolled onto my back, gasping. The room spun. My shoulder throbbed. Alexandra dropped to her knees beside me. "Marcus," she said. Her hands hovered over me like she was afraid to touch and afraid not to. "Are you hit?" "Just a scratch," I said through gritted teeth. My shirt was torn and sticky at the shoulder, but I could still move my arm. "Medical is on the way," Webb said. His eyes were wild, furious. "We got everything on audio. His confession, his threats. This is done." Thomas laughed once, short and bitter, as they hauled him to his feet. "You think this changes anything?" he said to Alexandra. "You are still alone." "No," she said. She looked at me. "I am not," she said quietly. "They took Thomas away. The paramedics wrapped my shoulder and said it was a graze. Painful, but not deep. I could keep my arm. I could keep my life." Later, after statements and reports, after police and questions and flashing lights, the floor finally quieted. I sat on the edge of the couch in her private lounge, bandaged tight around my shoulder. My whole body ached. Alexandra stood by the window again, staring down at the city lights. "You should be at a hospital," she said. "I have been," I said. "They patched me, cleared me. I am fine." She turned, and for the first time I could see that she was not fine at all. Her hands were shaking. Her usually perfect hair was messy. There was a smear of my blood on her sleeve. "I trusted him," she said. "I trusted Thomas. I shared plans, fears. I let him into rooms I keep closed to almost everyone." Her voice broke, "And he tried to kill me, twice." I stood up slowly and crossed the room. "He did not," I said. "You are still here." "Because you keep throwing yourself in front of everything," she said. "Because you keep choosing me. Why?" I did not dodge it. "Because you deserve someone who does," I said. "Because you built this place, and everyone expects you to be made of stone. But you are a person." And someone should stand between you and the things that try to break you." Her eyes filled with tears. She swallowed hard. "I do not know how to let people do that," she said. "I do not know how to need anyone. Every time I did in the past, they walked away." "I am not them," I said. She stepped closer. Close enough that I could see the faint freckles at the bridge of her nose under the makeup. Close enough that I could feel the warmth of her breath. She whispered, "and that is what scares me." We stood there, the city glowing behind her, the hum of the building soft around us. "I cannot promise I will not mess this up," she said. "I work too much. I forget to eat. I push people too hard. I do not know how to be anything but this." "I do not want you to be anything else," I said. "I just want to be there, with you, for you. And I want you to know that when I say I am not leaving, I mean it." Her eyes searched mine like she was checking for cracks. "You really mean that?" she said. "Yes," I said. "I meant it the day you spilled water to test me. I meant it when I reset your power. I meant it when I dragged you off that stage. I meant it when I ran at a man with a gun. I am not leaving unless you tell me to go." She let out a shaky laugh mixed with a sob. "I am not dismissing you, Marcus," she said. "Not from this, not from me." Then she reached up and cupped my face in both hands. I did not move. She leaned in slowly, giving me space to pull away. I did not. When her lips touched mine, it felt like every tight knot in my chest loosened at once. The kiss was not neat or perfect. It was shaky and soft and full of everything we had not said. When we pulled back, our foreheads touched. We were both breathing hard. "This is complicated," she whispered. "People will talk. They will judge." "Let them," I said. "They were talking before. They will talk after. The only thing that matters is what we know is real." Her fingers slid from my cheeks down to my hands. She laced her fingers with mine. "For the first time in a long time," she said, "I do not feel alone." "Me neither," I said. Months later, I watched her sit at our small kitchen table with Emma. They were working on a school project. Glue sticks, construction paper, markers everywhere. Emma was explaining some story about a science fair volcano. Alexandra was listening like it was the most important presentation of her week. Her hair was down. Her suit jacket was hanging on the back of a chair. She looked softer here than she ever did at Hartwell. Still herself, but more open. Emma held up her drawing. "Do you like it?" she asked. "I love it," Alexandra said. And she meant it. I could hear it in her voice. I leaned against the doorway and took it all in. Somewhere along the line, the Iron Lady had become the woman who made my daughter laugh. The woman who sat cross-legged on my living room floor and helped with spelling words. The woman who kissed me goodnight and woke up before dawn to run a company where I kept the lights on. Later that night, we stood on her balcony overlooking the city. The air was cool. The buildings glowed. "Do you ever think about that morning?" she asked. "The power outage?" I said. "Or when I walked into your office like a complete idiot?" She smiled. "Both," she said. "If you had not pushed open that door, none of this would have happened." "I thought I ruined everything," I said. "You did the opposite," she said. She turned to face me. "You altered my life." I looked at her, at the woman who had been a headline to me once, a title, a distant figure under bright lights. Now she was the person whose hand I held when I was scared, the one who saw more than just a man in a Navy work shirt, the one I loved. "I love you, Alexandra," I said. Her eyes softened. "I love you too, Marcus," she said. I used to think strength meant doing everything alone, working through the night, carrying the weight until my back broke, never asking for help. She thought the same. But standing there with her hand in mine, I finally understood something else. Real strength is letting the right person stand beside you. It is trusting someone enough to see you without your armor. It is choosing, over and over, not to run when things get hard. My life changed the day I accidentally walked into my CEO's private moment. I thought that mistake would end everything. Instead, it became the start of the one thing I never thought I would have. A love built in quiet choices, shared danger, and the simple promise that neither of us was ever going to face the dark alone again.